Your kid just spent 3 hours sorting Halloween candy by color, texture, and mouthfeel. Now it's 2 a.m. and you're doom Googling, "Is my child okay?" Stop. Close the tab. Your kid's fine. Their brain just takes the scenic route, and what feels weird at 7 might be the exact thing that makes them brilliant at 27. Normal is a setting on a washing machine, not a child. Normal doesn't exist in neurodevelopment. Every brain is wired differently. Some are highways. Some are winding mountain roads. Some are those weird roundabouts nobody understands, but somehow work. Stanford research shows neurodiversity isn't a defect. It's a natural variation that's existed throughout history and actually drives human adaptability. The kid who lines up toys, they're finding patterns. The ones who can't sit still, they're processing through movement. The dinosaur encyclopedia who can't tie their shoes, not failing, specializing. We only pathologize difference because standardization is easier. Schools want kids who sit for 6 hours. Society wants adults who make eye contact on demand. The world wants cookie-cutter humans who don't exist. Your neurodivergent kid is normal. Just normal in a way that makes people squirm. Because it doesn't squeeze into that one-size-fits-all t-shirt that never actually fits anyone. And if that rattled your definition of normal, wait until you hear how those weird quirks can actually become superpowers. The hidden superpowers in their weirdness. Your kid notices the one ceiling tile that's a slightly different shade in a room of 200. That's not weird. That's pattern recognition on beast mode. They can name all 1,015 Pokemon in order, but forget their homework. But that's not a problem. MIT research shows the very things adults call symptoms are often superpowers in disguise. The hyperactive kid, future innovator who won't quit until it works. The obsessive one, dedicated specialist in training. The oversensitive one, empathetic leader tuned into feelings others miss. Your kid's quirks aren't bugs in the system, they're features. The world just hasn't hit update system software yet. It's basically still buffering on dial-up. But powers always come with trade-offs, especially when the world insists on measuring them by the wrong scoreboard. Quick Sticko favor. Apparently, 97% of you still haven't subscribed. That's like sorting Halloween candy for 3 hours and forgetting to eat any. If you already subscribed, you get the king-size Haribo's. If not, hit subscribe and claim your bag. Stop comparing processing speeds. Why can't you just remember to brush your teeth? Meanwhile, the same kid can recite every Marvel movie in chronological order, including the post-credit scenes. That's not broken memory. That's priority processing. Harvard research shows neurodivergent kids have asynchronous development. Genius in one area, chaos in another. Reading at college level? Check. Forgetting their lunch every day? Also check. Future headline. Local genius starves, surrounded by books. Solving math problems that make you sweat? Easy. Melting down because their Lego build lost one tiny piece? Obviously the keystone holding society together. This isn't contradiction. It's neurodiversity. So stop measuring them against normal benchmarks. That's like judging a fish by how well it climbs a tree. If you think that's confusing, try living in a body where a shirt tag feels like barbed wire. The sensory world they navigate. Your kid isn't screaming at the vacuum because they're dramatic. To them, it's not background noise. It's a 747 taking off in the living room. The shirt tag you think is slightly itchy. To them, it's medieval torture, like someone hit a cactus in their collar. Northwestern research shows neurodivergent kids experience sensory input at totally different intensities. Your background chatter equals their stadium concert. Your meh smell equals their chemical warfare. Your funny texture food equals their spoiled milk. Imagine a world where everything is dialed up to 11. Socks equal sandpaper. Crowds equal rock festivals. Sunlight equals interrogation spotlight. So when they melt down, it's not weakness, it's survival. They're warriors in a sensory world cranked to max volume. It's like living permanently stuck in IMAX. And that's just their environment. Now add the invisible maze of social rules nobody actually explained. Social rules nobody explained. Look me in the eye when I'm talking to you. Translation, please stop listening and instead focus all your energy on creepy, unbroken eye contact. Neurodivergent kid, staring like a horror movie doll while missing every single word. Because here's the truth. Their brain can't process words and eyes at the same time. It's like trying to stream Netflix while uploading a 4K video on dial-up. Again. And guess what? These rules aren't universal truths. They're made-up traditions. Eye contact doesn't equal respect. Sitting still doesn't equal attention, and quiet doesn't equal learning. Yale research shows neurodivergent kids often understand social rules intellectually, but they're running them manually while everyone else runs autopilot. It's stick shift in a world of Teslas. So when they don't greet Aunt Karen instantly, they're processing. When they parallel play, they're connecting differently. When they need time alone, they're recharging. Every interaction is like translating a foreign language live, while juggling in a loud room. It's not rudeness, it's work. And if you think social rules are draining, wait until you see the myth that frustrates parents most. Just try harder. The myth of just try harder. If you just focused. If you just organized better. If you just tried. Your neurodivergent kid is trying. They're trying harder than anyone in the room. It just doesn't look like the effort adults expect. They're running a marathon while everyone else strolls through the park, and then being told they're lazy because they're sweating. ADHD and laziness. Autism isn't rudeness. Dyslexia isn't stupidity. These aren't character flaws. They're different operating systems. Columbia research shows neurodivergent kids often work twice as hard for half the visible result. They're juggling 17 steps while other kids juggle 3. They're manually running executive functions that others get on autopilot. So when someone says, just try harder, that's like yelling at a marathon runner to run faster while you're watching from the couch, holding a sandwich. And here's the Sticko twist for you. The very quirks adults call too much are often the exact traits history's biggest disruptors were built on. Celebrating the different drummers. The kid who memorizes train schedules, future transportation CEO, the kid who sees patterns everywhere, might solve climate change before lunch. The one who can't sit still? Give it time. They'll invent renewable energy by pacing. That weird train obsession, pattern recognition, data synthesis, temporal spatial reasoning, that's grad work, disguised as a 9-year-old muttering, Platform 3B leaves at 7:42 sharp. And history proves that Einstein couldn't tie his shoelaces, failed entrance exams, still bent physics. Mozart couldn't sit still. Ended up composing 600-plus masterpieces. Nikola Tesla circled buildings 3 times before entering, and he gave us alternating current. Cambridge research says up to 70% of history's innovators showed neurodivergent traits. Their problems weren't barriers. They were engines of genius. Even Minecraft obsessions? That's not a waste of time. That's systems thinking, research management, architecture. That's not defiance. That's NASA-level reality debugging. Because here's the mic drop. The world wasn't built by people who colored inside the lines. Remember that. It was built by the ones who asked, why are these lines here at all? But genius still needs support, which is where accommodations come in, and why they're not cheating. The accommodation revolution. Isn't giving them accommodations unfair to other kids? Nope. That's like saying glasses or cheating on a math test. Accommodations don't give superpowers. They remove hidden kryptonite. Headphones, sensory glasses, movement breaks, neurological pit stops. Extra time? That's not cheating. It's the difference between finishing the marathon or being dragged off the track at mile 24. Johns Hopkins research shows accommodations level the field. They don't tilt it. And kids shouldn't have to fail first to earn things. That's like waiting for a kid to break their arm before giving them training wheels. Accommodations aren't coddling. They're access. They don't lower the bar. They take the unnecessary weights off it. And the next step? Teaching your kid to ask for what they need. Boldly, confidently, without shame. Building their self-advocacy. Think of your kid's brain like an operating system, except nobody gave you the manual. And half the time, you feel like your tech support on hold. Your brain processes sound at full blast. That's why we use headphones. Your brain thinks in pictures. That's why we use visual schedules. Your brain needs movement. That's why we take breaks. That's not labeling. That's cheat codes for life. And when your kid knows their own cheat codes, they start unlocking levels the rest of us didn't even know existed. Stanford research shows kids who understand their wiring grow up with stronger self-esteem and better outcomes. So don't whisper their diagnosis like it's Voldemort's name. Don't frame it as shame. Frame it as difference. Your kid isn't broken. They're running a different program. And history shows the different programs are the ones that moved humanity forward. This tees up the final question every parent secretly asks. What does normal even mean? The truth about normal. Normal is a myth. Basically a subscription service nobody signed up for, but everyone still gets billed for monthly. Your kid isn't off track. They are the track. They work differently, not wrongly. They process uniquely, not poorly. They feel intensely, not incorrectly. Stop trying to cram them into a cardboard cutout called normal. Start normalizing difference because the world needs their pattern radar, their laser focus, their sensory brilliance, their question everything curiosity, their routines that bring order to chaos. Your kid is normal, perfectly, wonderfully, gloriously normal. It just looks different from the imaginary normal everyone pretends exists. Different isn't less. Different isn't broken. Different is the source of every breakthrough in history. And your kid, they won't succeed despite their differences. They'll change the world because of them. So maybe the real question isn't, is my kid normal? It's, is normal even worth aiming for?